What's going on, guys? Joey here with Flex Training Systems. Today I'm going to be bringing you a video, not in the car for once. I'm actually testing out, well, it's an older mic. It's a mic that I've been using for a while, but I wanted to see how things worked. If I could record straight off the computer, and it's a little bit easier than having to email myself the audio file after I do it. I'm also, it's Monday, rest day, and putting what I'm currently doing on hold to bring you guys this super duper awesome, amazing video on practical application. What the heck is practical application? That's practical application is essentially your ability to take concepts and ideas and apply them to real life situations. So how does this apply for powerlifting? A lot of you guys have probably listened to my previous videos in the past. Maybe you are a coach yourself, and you're trying to figure out how you can improve, how can you get better at what you're doing. And something I've always said I've been able to do pretty well. Man, like I said this like a couple years ago, and it was when I kind of really knew before Flex Training Systems became what it became. Sorry, I had to take a sip of good old Powerade Zero. If you guys listened to my last video on sodium, you already know what's up. But practical application and your ability to take these concepts and apply them to the individual is something that it's really hard to just teach someone. It's hard to just give someone that skill, because if they had that skill, then everybody would be a coach. It takes time. I think a lot of it comes with trial and error, just practicing over years. A lot of people don't know this, but it's been like 12 years ago I started training people. I didn't know nearly as much as I know now, but I started training people in person, and there was no YouTube. There was YouTube, but there was no real YouTube fitness community. There was no real way to kind of take there was no way to just go on the internet and just type something in and watch a video and get the information. You had to go to T-Nation, bodybuilding.com forums, things like that, to kind of gather your information and try to learn some things. For those of you that don't know, Lane Norton was actually on. He would help people like for free just because he liked doing it for fun on bodybuilding.com many years ago, which was very interesting, and I think he was a little bit ahead of his time in regards to kind of being one of the first online coaches, one of the first people to take those scientific concepts and apply them to individuals. So how can you get better at practical application? That's such a complicated question, but you need like specific context to really give you a concrete answer. But before we get into that, I just want to say that there are a ton of people in the fitness industry and powerlifting coaches, bodybuilding coaches, whatever, that take they just regurgitate information that they hear on the internet. They don't really have any individualization. They don't tweak anything, and when they run into like complex scenarios that can come up when you're dealing with different people, they don't really know what to do, and then that's when you start seeing things kind of fall apart, or clients just end up spending a lot of money and not getting a lot in return. Obviously you want to be getting stronger, but I think there's a lot of stuff you can get from having a good coach other than just getting stronger. Can literally help every aspect of your life, and that's why I think being able to empower people through taking those concepts, using your practical application skills to apply it to the individual and empower them and put them in a position to succeed on the platform is like so important. But yeah, I mean, even when I was a trainer coming up in, I used to work at a gym called Beverly Hills Health and Fitness. I used to go to people's like crazy apartment complexes out there. They have a whole complete gym in the actual apartment, and train them. And that over the years, training people in person and then transitioning into more powerlifting focus has helped me just refine that technique as new information came out. I remember when daily undulating periodization first came out was a thing, when Dr. Zordo started pushing all that stuff, and we started to learn the value of specificity and just building muscle versus like something like Westside, where there's just so much variety. It's difficult to push your body in any one direction. That's why a lot of lifters that come to me from inefficient training programs like that, they see a shit ton of progress. Obviously, if you're taking a ton of drugs, it's not going to matter what you do. You're going to see progress just simply existing. If that statement offends you, there's actually research to support that taking testosterone and doing absolutely nothing is going to help you build muscle more so than someone who's training harder in the gym. Obviously, there are varying degrees of the magnitude of that happening, but I think it's important to understand these things when you're thinking about stuff like that. But that's a whole nother video. So if you're looking to improve your practical application skills, if you're on the internet and you're looking at a bunch of different videos, you have to try. It's a lot of trial and error. It's just trying to find out what works for you, what works for certain types of people, and then using your, all the previous information you've gathered to try and come up with like an educated. That's essentially what we're doing. Like whenever I write a new training program for a new person, I get all the information from them and I say, all right, based on my prior experience, this is what I feel is going to help them move in the right direction. And that's all you can really do, and then you gotta just tweak from there. There's no, if we're talking about something like changing up, like for example, I changed my video card on my computer. I previously had no idea how to do this. I watched a video online that told me what to do. I could literally just take exactly that and do exactly what I was told and accomplish the goal. Found the video card that worked for what I was doing, and then I was able to just make it happen. The thing is, whenever you're dealing with anything that has to do with a person, like guided programming or anything like that, people change. We are variable creatures. We're adaptive creatures. We don't just stay the same. Timing is a huge part of it. This gets into probably something for a seminar. Hint, hint. Just trying to teach people how to just tweak things based on different body types, different lifters, and things like that. So trial and error, a big component of practical application, and then over time you're going to get better, and then this process becomes much quicker. Again, I'm sorry if this seems like a kind of a vague, maybe almost pointless video. A lot of you guys, fun fact, for this channel I originally made it to help enhance the knowledge of my clients, and then I decided posting things online just to kind of get information out there and perhaps draw people towards me that were interested in what I had, like what's going on with Flex Training Systems, how is Joey doing what he's doing. Well, you can listen to my stuff and kind of see what I'm about. But if you're a client of mine, this video, it's good that you know what I'm talking about, and in the back of your mind you kind of have this information. But I do a lot of that. I do all of it for them. They don't really have to do much. They can focus on going to school or their job or whatever it is that they're doing, and know that I'm going to have the rest of it covered. But I do think that when I can, if I invest a lot of time into someone, I'm just going to use, we call him my son, Sean Noriega, as an example. I have just spent so much time with him, and I've spent so much just investing, everything that I know into making him better trying to help him the best that I can. He's come such a long way, not only as a lifter, learning so much about himself, but as a coach. He's been seeing great success with his guys, and he's been dealing with some maybe some variables he's not used to, and I've just been helping him through that. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about coaching is investing into the lifter, investing time into the lifter. Obviously, communication plays a big role in that. If they ever have an issue with why, or a question about why I'm making a certain decision, I can I could talk about how I've been practically applying things for so long and give them examples and try to make them understand what's going on. So if they run into a roadblock, or if they run into something and I'm not actually there in that instance to help them, they can take what I've said and apply it and get through it, and then communicate with me, and we'll go from there. So before I go, I just wanted to say, be careful where you guys get information from. Try to see who's doing well, who's being successful, who's relevant, and see what they preach, and then take all that information, see which of those disciplines applies to you and your situation, and take notes. If it ain't work, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's broken, then make a tweak here and there, and see if you get a better result. Again, this is a very complicated topic that applies to many different areas, and I'll probably do a video on it again in the future. And just remember that just because you see someone that's shredded, or somebody that's strong, or that can preach, or say something, and make it sound fancy and cool and practical, that literally doesn't mean that they know how to apply. That doesn't mean they know how to apply what they're saying. I have two big examples of two big, popular figures that are they're good at maybe being an athlete or being a presenter, but when it comes to actually applying to their lifters, social media is part of what I do, so I see everything. I know I'm looking at what everybody's doing. And you start to notice trends over time. I'm sure a lot of you guys that have contacted me, that are working with me right now, you might see one of my clients do good, then you see 2 of them, then you see 10 of them, then you see 20, then you see 50. You know what I mean? There's literally thousands of my hashtags out there to look through, and I like being very transparent with you guys. So you know what I'm all about when it comes down to deciding whether or not you need a coach, or would like one, especially for big meets like Raw Nationals, which is coming up, which I believe we are truly in prep for year-round, as that is a very important meet. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble now, going to bring this video to an end. If you guys enjoy me not doing my videos in the car, obviously you do, it's better than having the hum in the background, but I'm going to do my best to kind of do these at home when I'm not focusing on driving. I can talk a little bit faster, I can think a little bit more clearly, and just record straight onto my computer. Anyways, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a like, let me know what you thought of the video. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.